So let's do this. Let's start because I know, thank you, Megan, for starting the recording and being on. And I know that you've got some family things to do as well. I'm going to really just turn this over to Amanda, who's been the chair extraordinaire. There's been a lot of stuff that's been happening. Went before the school committee and they all wore their Santa hats, and it seems the school department is really engaged and ready to be involved this year, and I'm really psyched about that. But Amanda, first I want to say thank you again to you for leading this. I know John Marion was interested in coming, and here's Anthony Fowler. It's great to see you. We have all these questions that we have for folks. So I have a hard stop because I have not gone to Representative Creedon's wake yet, and I do have to run at 6:30, maybe 6:35. So Amanda, do you want to lead in, and then we can start showing folks things? And okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just wrote down just a couple light items to go over first. I do want to let you know, Mary, that clearly the school committee meeting went well because we've already seen some registration from some school marching bands today. So really exciting. People are starting to get on board. And we received confirmation from City Hall that they're going to be fully open and excited to participate and get some exciting stuff set up there for folks. Right. Black-owned Brockton is going to be running the vendor marketplace, and we've seen a lot of great new vendor registrations over the last couple of days as well. So it looks like there'll be a lot of different options for folks and a lot of people ready to come out and, you know, bring the best of what they have to Brockton. The one thing that I will say that
Amanda, can we do just one hard stop here, because there's some new folks that are on, and I thought it would be, you've seen some of the names on emails, but to finally meet them, I'm going to first say, besides we all got a chance to meet Captain Picaro, and thank you again, Mark, for your help. And he's a resident and he's just wonderful. But Anthony Fowler, who just took his face off, but Anthony Fowler's from the Brockton Emergency. Thank Anthony. And he's on emails just in terms of working with the Brockton PD and the setup. In addition to that is Pat Monteith with the planetarium and at the library and all the cool things. And Pat, we should all be going over to the library and seeing the planetarium. And then Linda Texera raised, so thank you. I know you're always been involved and engaged. And of course, Cynthia and Lisa. And am I missing anybody else? I'm doing this on my phone.
What about so. Peggy?
Peggy's here.
She's with us. She just doesn't have a video. She's driving. Hi. Sorry.
That's okay, Peggy. Thank you. On my phone, it's hard to tell who's on and who's not. But now, Amanda, I'm going to mute myself. I promise. Let you take this over. So thank you.
Right when the dog starts barking too. So that the one thing that we're seeing not as much sign up for is volunteers who are willing to be there the day of. So we're seeing a lot of community engagement, and we're really excited about that. Businesses and vendors and restaurants that want to participate, but not a lot of folks who are willing to sign up to be on hand the day of for logistical volunteers. So I'm going to do a little more outreach on that for volunteers. So what my ask is of everyone here is, if you know somebody who might be interested in volunteering, please let them know that there is an opportunity for them. And I know that not everybody has the same comfortability level of, you know, maybe they want to volunteer, but they don't, you know, want to do a ton of social interacting, or maybe they don't feel comfortable doing one thing, but they might be willing to help with something else. There is an opportunity to volunteer and get involved, and we can find the job for them. So I say, sign up, come meet some new folks, have a great day, celebrate, you know, and get a cool t-shirt. Mary, I'm working on the t-shirts. So I think it'll be a great opportunity, and maybe we can use that as an incentive. I think having a great day in Brockton and really celebrating the community is a great incentive, but the t-shirt doesn't hurt. Linda, do you have a question?
Yeah, so is there a sign-up sheet that has all the different positions on it? And also, I had a couple different agencies ask me in the last week, what do they need to do in order to participate?
So we do have, and I can share them with you too. They are on the website and on the socials, but there is just a general sign up. And when you go to that general sign up, you choose, like, are you signing up as a volunteer, as a vendor? And then it's gonna ask you some more like personalized questions, like if you're a vendor, what do you sell? Or if you're a restaurant, what do you want to sign up for? If you want to volunteer, and it will show you the job assignments for volunteers. And I was thinking, Mary, too, that maybe I'll get a little more specific on those, just because it might encourage folks.
I'm almost thinking, Amanda, we may just need a separate, keep what we have. I wouldn't change it, but then just to really focus on, because remember last year we had different, you don't remember this, but the others do. We had different timeframes for people to sign up for volunteering. And that was helpful because it can be daunting saying, what do you mean I got to be there from 8 to 5? Like, that's a long day. So
Here come cleanup time.
right.
And-
And that's right. So, but to the point, so Amanda, if there's, I know you were working on the forums, if we can maybe work on that, that would be great. And so when I went to this, when Maureen Donamora was with me going before the school committee, which was great to have a teacher there and be engaged, she dressed the part in a red sweater. I unfortunately was not dressed for the part, but the Cindy Burns, the principal of Brockton High School, said, well, maybe to use the ROTC folks. So, because they were very much involved with the Tower Hill Festival this past weekend and were great. Like, they really were terrific. So, so volunteers. So maybe we, in terms of social media, that I think people now know we're going out to different places. Let's do this big drive and look for, there's a, Lisa, I know, I think you posted on there, there's a Brockton Volunteers Facebook page. So, and I think this might lead in well, Amanda, in talking to Anthony and Cap Picaro, in the sense that, there are things that always additional hands can be, we certainly are not going to take over anything in terms of a detail, but the way that we shut things down last year and when we shut them down, I think that there were some additional folks with, yellow jackets or whatever, just to help with stopping people. And again, not doing the police department's job, but at the same time being more of an assist. So Anthony or Mark, do you have anything in terms of that?
Yeah, I think
Go ahead, Mark.
All right, thank you. I think that the helpers that we had last year, the non-police helpers, they were the police cadets that we have. We have about 6 or 7 of them, and they've been very handy when it comes to like special events and parades. If we fall short on police officers, the chief lets us tap into the cadet program. And I think I used some of the cadets right behind City Hall last year, blocking off East Elm Street and VFW Parkway. So those are probably the people that you saw back there last year. Very helpful.
Very good. The Downtown Brockton Association also supported the cadet program when they were working on going to different places. We made a donation so they can, I think it was going to Fenway, just an FYI, but they were great. And that would be really helpful.
And Mary, but yeah, so just want to piggyback off the captain. Obviously we'll be there in full strength. I should be back. I'm heading to Puerto Rico this weekend for work for 30 days. But I should be back in time, but we're going to have enough. We'll have some volunteers too on our end, people that are vetted and stuff like that to assist us in whatever the captain and his operation needs.
Right. Thank you, Anthony. And we're going to continue to utilize my office as a headquarters. That seemed to have worked for everyone. Good. I am going to say this, and this is not to, so when I met on Friday with Shalia Gilmer from Black Owned Brockton, we were going to really take some time to walk through again, like where the right location. So our intention is still to close off the East Elm or West Elm into, you know what I'm talking about, into VFW, that elbow, if you will. Part what she was saying is, there's probably about 10 people who have signed up already for food vendors. Is that right? Somewhere around that. That big parking lot could be almost too big for even 10 food trucks, that maybe there's a way that we can just utilize all of that space to have everything there. And that might be a little bit cozy, but it's also makes it more like a village. So right now the plan is stay as we've talked about, but Shali and I have not connected yet this week since last Friday. And I'd like to maybe with you, Amanda, and then, Cap, certainly to walk through just in case the plan changes. Last year we had cut off School Street because that's where a lot of activities were going, if I remember that, during the wind. We're not going to be using as you know, that we're not going to be using the parking lot, the Lincoln Street parking lot. That's not going to be utilized. And then I think the only thing is now I noted that there's still electrical work that's going on in the downtown. So as long as it's as long as it's shut down for the parade, that's the only thing that I know last year, Mark, you were really helpful. Captain, you were really helpful in just notifying, because there was a lot of the area where the United Furniture building is. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of raise those. There's still some time, but we're going to need to have probably a date that we just want to be solidified and have no more changes so we can put everything else into works. Somebody, Megan, did you have your hand? Did you say you had her hand raised?
Yeah, as a host, I can't, oh, sorry. I can't raise my hand. A thought just wanted to think, we were thinking about volunteers, for items that aren't, adult heavy. One of the things we can think about doing is reaching out to like National Honor Society. They always have to do volunteer hours. So it's just a thought of something
Good
like
idea.
that. And then maybe a few of other, there's the I can't think of any of the other the high school ones, but I know there's tons of high school clubs that have to do that for volunteer hours. And then, have we thought about, I know Boys and Girls Club are always, not to
Yeah.
volunteer them, but just to ask them if they have anyone that maybe wants to help out.
Those are all good suggestions. Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, a lot. I know that there's at the high school, there's also community service. So Cindy is the contact. And so again, I saw her last night, but we can do an email directly to her that if there are community service need to be provided. George Brickhouse is also another person who is involved in the community and may be able to attain some folks. So volunteers is what I'm hearing, just to help us support. And there are a number of volunteers that come back that don't even bother signing up, but we really need them to be signed up. So we'll have to maybe, Amanda, find some time. I may have some time on, well, you and I can probably touch base offline to go through some of the records that have been in the past that we can look at. So how about question? I know Counselor Thompson sent me an email about making sure the counselors are invited. I may just ask him to have us go before the city council, give them some hats and have them get excited about it as well. Okay, Lisa, I'm sorry, you have a question.
Oh, it can wait. I didn't remember this piece on the volunteer form. Is there a minimum age for volunteers? I don't think we've ever turned people away, but I'm being sensitive to,
Yeah.
we haven't really ever discussed that. And if we're talking about extending out to the other entities, which I support, and I was even going to offer to post out to some of the social media sites, I actually reached out to my daughter's school, but I got to thinking, let me verify. Is there a minimum age? Do you want to set that guideline?
That's a good question. We haven't set one, but because of the rules in terms of working with young adults, I would, I'm looking at Anthony and probably Capicaro on that. We probably should in fact have an age. Go ahead,
So-
Anthony. Yep.
I would check with, bringing in the schools is a great idea. See if there's any high schoolers that may, like juniors or seniors, that may need some community service hours. And maybe see what the superintendent says on that. Captain, jump in at any point, but I would think that obviously if that kids have, formal registration, schools sign off on it, something like that. If not, just because of liabilities and stuff like that, I would try to keep it as close, if not at 18, if you can. I mean, obviously we know that kids are going to help their parents out and they're supervised with adults and things like that. But just because of the complex area that it's in, and there's traffic, people moving around and things like that, that's just my thought. Again,
Agree with you wholeheartedly, having been in the position where I had to have youth volunteer. One, besides the school signing off on it, you really have to have parents approval. And that's sometimes hard. You might have a 12 or 13-year-old who wants to do something and the parents like, absolutely not. I'm not taking you there. I'm not picking you up. If something happens to you, then who's responsible? I agree. If we can set it at 18, unless, you know, you're a parent who brings a child with them. And then
with a slip, with a sign
absolutely,
off.
but something
Yeah.
that there's no, we don't hold any liability should, you know, Santa Claus fall on your kid while he's there working, you know, and just something that protects the DBA period.
Yeah.
yeah, it's some more of a liability just for the DBA, but also, you know, the city where the stuff could be on city property and stuff like that. It's just something like that you just want to look for.
So the question is a great one to be raised, Lisa, and for everyone chiming in. I think that makes all the more reason, I think, for us to have a separate sign-in sheet or a sign up for the volunteers. So we ask the age, are you of, and then if you're not, you know, here's, you know, print this out, or please get permission or bring it with you, that type of thing. So a couple other, our Kiwanis and Rotary are also good for volunteering, community service. So I did talk to Donna, and then I also talked to Rotary. Anyway, it's in my head. Amanda?
So what I'll do then, Mary, and that's absolutely right. I mean, liability to avoid it at any point. So what I'll do is the current volunteers that we have signed up, I'm going to do some initial outreach to all of them tomorrow, just like a general email with some information. And then what I'll do is I'll create a different sheet with, you know, an 18+ and maybe like a little liability clause on the bottom, and I'll share it with you for approval before we start using that instead.
Great, perfect. How about other questions? So reached out today to the billboard sign design. They're on board. They actually had some really great thoughts about old pictures from the old parades from years ago and have that up on the board. So they're Ron Farino's awesome. So anytime after, I think he said, thanks, after Halloween, he said. So that will be a nice draw. Again, volunteers, if we know businesses, if there's anything else, I feel like we're missing something. I would think, you know, because of the activity, I know Anne is not on. I don't think, I don't know if anybody else is here. I'm sorry, I'm looking through my phone here. But you know, we promoting what the library is planning on doing for that day will be important. I did talk to Brockton Beer Company, and what they're going to be doing is reaching out to the license commission. So they have the license. They're going to actually see if they can get like a one day where they may even come outside on the sidewalk and do like with the hay, and, you know, have it be, you know, roped off. So it's not just out inside, that it could be outside, but I said that's on them to figure out, but they'll do like a mulled cider or mulled wine or something along those lines. Something nice, hot toddy-ish kind of a thing. Where after the parade, we're all going over there to have one of those. Anyway, you know, so then the other piece is really getting to the other businesses, Tamboo and Joe Angelo's. I did talk to Joe today. He said he'll do whatever, and he usually has his own crowd anyway that kind of congregates there and watches the parade from there. So
I think that's great, Mary, because what I'd like to do too is like, so even if people aren't gonna like, you know, come on site, like down over by City Hall too, like lots of businesses are gonna open their doors for that day, and maybe they have a special, or, you know, maybe they are gonna offer, you know, a special celebration purchase, you know, you buy
Right.
2 hot dogs, get 1 free. Like I want to be able to tell people about those things that people are willing to do. So
Yeah.
if we can reach out to those other, I can get in touch with somebody over at Tamboo and see, you know, I want to be able to feature what people are going to offer.
right. So I was at Teffy's today for lunch. I'm eating my way through downtown. So it's so by the time I'll be certainly Mrs. Claus when I'm ready to, by the end of Christmas. But the, Teppies was aware, they know it's coming. And, again, they're a little bit off the beat, but we want to be able to just let people know and even have a map so people know where they can grab lunch in addition to everything else that's there. So, I mean, we're still in good shape for the time we're sitting on October 12th. We're much better shape than we were last year, a much better shape. But I think, bantering around, both for Anthony and for Picaro, I need to reach out to the fire department because I know those are certain things that need to be done. Lisa and the team have been great in working with Bob Butler, and it's $25 for a vendor to have food. Yes, thank you, Lisa, for following up on that. That makes a big difference. Again, activities, and we want the parade to be really kind of be robust, but we also want to make sure that we're, looking at the businesses and not have it be very complicated for traffic coming in and out of the city, right? Want it to be safe. So the only thing, oh, great, Linda, thank you. You keep that, that's right. You had that last year too, Linda. Linda's got this, Mrs. Kloss. Again, there's lots of, the more the more participants we can have in the parade, the more people are drawn to downtown. But then it still goes back to having enough volunteers. So I'm glad, Mark and Anthony, both in terms of what you guys have for your team. I think then we need to really be focused about what else we need volunteers for. So the parking, the lots, and then we need people along the parade route to come in and make sure that it's not all jammed through like it was last year. There's a role, there's stop signs that people wait and, don't be rushing right through. So that's before. Pat Monteith, in terms of, do you know what any other items there may be happening at the library?
I have no idea. I'm in my own little world these days.
That's all right. It's a successful little world. Yeah, Lisa?
Sorry, I was just trying to properly raise my hand. So I was at a library board meeting last night and I asked the question. So it's still in formation of what they're going to be offering that day. And so they do know that, although I am not a parade participant team chair, I did remind them about, keeping us posted just so that we can publish all those details. So I just kind of started the conversation. So there's nothing formal for me to report at this moment, but I did take the opportunity to bring it up at last night's meeting.
And that's great. Lisa, the reason why I also bring that, I'm looking again back to Mark and Anthony in terms of people walking and making sure there's safe places, and how I would normally say, let's go walk right behind Joe Angelo's, but there's not a sidewalk there. And what's the best way for people to cross from where this activity is and where the library is? We attempted last year to do reindeer feet to go to the library, but I think it was, again, it was too cold of a day.
I'm going to I'll divert that to the captain.
If you, what are you looking to do, Mary? Have people that maybe are in the city hall or marketplace area be able to safely go back and forth to the library?
Yeah, here's what happens every year. Like, library actually has their thing going on for the holiday. There's usually a train set thing going on, and they do a lot of, and I don't know if we had enough money, I would have a trolley go back and forth, so and ride back and to and from. That still may not be out of the question. I'd have to reach out to Brockton Area Transit. So if there is a bit of a trolley, people can get on and off. It literally is 4 blocks or not even that, so it shouldn't be, but Crescent Street, right? That's a busy street, particularly if when roads start getting closed off. Main Street can be tricky as well until it gets shown, so I don't know yet, Cap, but I will try to get that defined. But anybody have thoughts about that? Either as a
if that's something you want to do, Mary, generally get people from City Hall to the library and back and forth safely across Crescent Street there. We have a couple of options. We could just leave Crescent Street shut down for the duration of the day.
Okay.
Or we could open up Crescent Street, but assign a couple of offices to that location right near the parking garage, near the VFW Parkway.
Right.
And they
mhm.
could just safely cross people back and forth to the other side of Crescent Street.
So that's helpful to know. I do thank you, Megan, as being my assistant for our real job, but it's 6:27. I do need to run to the wake. I'm going to sign off, but Cap, I'll talk to you offline about that. And
Sure.
perhaps I'm going to reach out. Ron Bethany one year had this train that people would get on and would ride up and around and just give it. I thought that was kind of fun in another safe way. So maybe we can think of alternative ways.
If I
Yeah.
could jump in, just because of my schedule, I'm going to jump off also. But I don't know, Captain and Mary, if you guys are around on Friday, I'll send a message to both of you offline. But maybe we can either chat online or in person or something like that. But I definitely have some ideas that we can talk about in regards to that and some other stuff. But I definitely think we should chat offline also.
Sure.
I'm around Friday. I've got something between, but yes, I'm around
Yeah.
Friday. Lisa,
All right.
you have
Just 2 seconds before you all sign off, or those that need to, I just want to say out loud, if there is value, because I know the weather would drive this. Brockton Youth Soccer will not be using them that day, but we have some great sandwich boards that are heavily weighted. Again, I know if the weather is bad, that won't work. But one of the things that I'm offering is to get those sandwich boards, and we can at least put a little bit better signage that would direct them through the areas we want them to walk.
Right.
That's all. I just wanted to put that out there as an option.
That's great. That would be helpful. Thank you. All right, I do have to fly. I'm gonna leave this in Amanda's hands. Thank you all so much. And hopefully by the time we meet again, I don't know what I'm doing with my phone. By the time we meet again, I'm really illiterate on this stuff. It's just crazy. We'll get more volunteers. That's really what we're gonna do. So,
All right.
No, we will. We will.
okay,
Thanks,
bye.
Mary.
For sure. Thanks, Mary. I don't really have anything else. We got that done pretty quickly, as I anticipated we would. I just asked folks to keep an eye on your email as additional details come out. Like I said, we're getting so many more folks signing up, so that now once we have enough folks signed up for things, what we'll really do is move into like the logistics phase and really just start hammering things out to get things ready for the day, hopefully a few weeks in advance, so that we're all ready. And Pat, I'm so excited about the planetarium. Cindy will tell you that I hung up the flyer at work. People are so excited about it, and pumped to see what the library does on the day of the celebration too.
Yeah,
And it'll be really fun to have, we'll have a little map of all where people can find where to go and all that. It's going to be great.
yeah, we have 4 planetarium shows this Saturday if anybody wants to experience it.
Oh, nice.
So I can actually put the,
Yeah. Oh, I have it. I'm so excited. I'm gonna try to make it over.
Yeah, me too.
well, let me put the link in there
Please.
to register. Did I just put that in there?
Thank you so much.
Oops. Here we go.
And then
There it is. Cool.
to what I'll do, I'll work with Mary to get things situated so that we can talk more about safety and things like that with you and Anthony, Mr. Picaro, and then we'll hopefully talk in person about that a little bit more as things get closer. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for their excellent efforts, and everybody has been so amazing at taking their captained activity and reaching out to folks. And I do think that this is going to be a really wonderful day for everybody, and I'm really excited.
We are too.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Maureen.
nice to
Maureen,
see
you missed at the beginning. I was telling everybody that some of the schools have already signed up. So thank you for your efforts on Monday. We have some marching bands signed up already. So it should be a great day for Brockton, and a great day for all the surrounding communities and for the kids.
Amanda, I have a quick question about the, so has anybody reached out to Lynch's Towing about the flatbeds?
So John talked to Lynch's. I'm supposed to chat with John. I don't think he could make it tonight, but I'm going to chat with John Friday, and I'll just get everything solid, and I'm going to get it all written out in plain English so it can be told to everybody how they can call Lynch's and get everything situated for that day.
Perfect, because that was my next question was, should I include that in the email? when I'm sending the flyers to the PACs, just so that they know to reach out to Lynch's, because nowhere on the sign up sheet does it say anything about Lynch's. So
Yeah, no, definitely a little blurb, I think, about Colin Lynch's towing, and I'll write that out for you, Maureen, and I'll email it over to you. That way you can attach it with the schools.
perfect. Thank
for
you.
sure. Thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom that they want to share before we jump off? All right, I think that's it. I'll see you guys all soon.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.